You think everything is going according to plan, when instead everything goes terribly wrong. The darkness of a tight space, realizing it's too late, no going back, and all you can do is just accept that your deadly fate has come. It was the year 2000, in spring during April, when a man named Yuri Lipsky was gearing up to take a highly anticipated trip that he had been planning for months at a famous sinkhole called the Blue Hole in Dahab, Egypt. The Blue Hole is famous for countless diving expeditions and adventures, and a hotspot for professional divers especially. And since this was on Yuri's bucket list, he was going to this trip and he wasn't going to let anything get in his way. But he really only had a couple of days to get everything that he wanted done. He had a busy work schedule and he couldn't take too much time off. So he made his way on April 28th, and he was heading down to the sinkhole ready to just dive straight in. Once he got there, he actually couldn't just dive straight in. He actually ended up running into one of the guys that managed it named Tariq, who was also a professional diving instructor, but particularly gave safety lessons on how to swim and navigate the Blue Hole. And Yuri had never been there. Tariq was about to explain to him a little bit of the dangers behind what he was about to face. Especially for someone like Yuri, who was very eager, who was also a professional, so he had this sense of confidence about him that he can just go through any route no problem, and he wanted to film it all, so he took a camera. Well, Tariq told him, hey man, slow it down there. You're gonna get to do this, but I highly suggest that you come with me for a few days and wait. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna give you the lessons on how to navigate this specific route because it's tight quarters. You haven't been here before, in this specific archway that you want to go to, it's a really bad journey down there if you don't know what you're doing. Tariq was quoted in this story telling Yuri, saying, look, you're going to need to wait 2 weeks, train with me, and then we'll go down there together and we'll film the journey together. This is super tight quarters. You've never been here before, and especially for people with claustrophobia, it's really easy to get lost down there. It's a 30-foot descent of a route, and that's not even counting the rest of what is down there. He continued trying to convince him, explaining and comparing that the Red Sea, which is where this blue sinkhole is located, is actually even more dangerous than scaling Mount Everest on a hike. And people are known to die there, right? Well, here, 200 people, amateurs or experienced professional divers like yourself, all alike, have drowned trying to navigate the same route you're about to navigate. Well, Yuri, he was not having this, and he was not about to wait 2 weeks. He was set in stone in his ways about going down there in that instant, and he definitely was not going to take Tariq's advice. Going completely against what Tariq was suggesting to him, he started putting on his wetsuit right there. He had one full tank of air, a camera, and he mounted some weights on his belt that would carry him down the entire path. And this didn't just go against Tariq's advice, it actually went against standard diving protocol. Both amateurs and professionals alike, it's a practice known when you're being taught anything about diving to take multiple tanks of gas that has this trimix of oxygen, helium, and nitrogen, where it's going to help you avoid something called narcosis. It's this illness that happens when you don't have enough oxygen, helium, or nitrogen as a balanced mix, or you run out of air, where you end up hallucinating and you suffocate to death. Regardless of Yuri being completely aware of the gamble that he was about to take, he basically just ignored everything that Tariq was trying to tell him and dove in headfirst with full confidence, having no training, no guidance whatsoever, down into the deep of the Blue Hole. In this story, it's known that Yuri didn't just go down the 30-foot route. He actually went way beyond, nearly 300 feet into this treacherous terrain. And almost immediately, once he was going through it, trying to navigate it by himself, the dive, it started falling apart. He starts to realize that the route that he's taking is not as simple of close quarters navigation that he's used to as he expected. And he starts getting confused on the way down, trying to go throughout all of these little tunnels, and he starts panicking. He's terrified and he loses control. He starts thrashing his body every which way. Every inch that he keeps descending, he keeps getting more disoriented, more confused. He starts hyperventilating, and it's too late now. He starts to realize that the situation that he's now in, it's gonna cost him. And with panicking even more, now that he realizes just what he has put himself in, he starts thrashing his body every which way, trying to grab a surface to hold on to so that he can stop descending. But he's too confused and disoriented now, and he just every inch keeps on dropping, hyperventilating, and now there's nowhere to go. His bodily thrashing just makes things so much worse. All of the movement is causing these clouds of thick dirt and dust to just pile up around him, clouding his vision, clouding his judgment. He's now unable to see anything in front of him. Only a few minutes would pass throughout the entire duration throughout Yuri's dive, and the entire time he only struggled to catch his breath, struggled to get aware of his surroundings, and struggled to even navigate the blue hole correctly throughout the route that Tariq tried to give him. And those are the minutes that counted. It was too late for him. He was never able to slow down his heart rate, regain his sense of awareness or vision from all the dust that he had kicked up, and he had spent all of the oxygen that he had in that singular tank that he took down. And Yuri drowned. He tried to go down there for a bucket list moment, and he put himself in a situation that he could not come back from. Everything that could have gone wrong in his dive did. And the locals, everyone was there to watch it happen, including Tariq. They all noticed that after a few minutes had passed, it was more than enough time for him to navigate the whole route and then come back up safely. But when he didn't, everyone knew that something terrible had just happened. And when they did, well, word spread around, and a safety team ended up being called in to go and search for Yuri's body. And the very diving instructor that talked to him and tried to get him to not go in by himself, Tariq, he was the leader of that team that would go in and retrieve Yuri's body. And for Tariq, it's unfortunately something that is not new to him, and he does it pretty often. And he was quoted in the story saying that it's a regular occurrence, and he does it on a case-by-case basis. He does it pro bono, for free. And it's not an easy thing. It's not even something that the most experienced divers can do. It takes more than just experience. It takes experience specifically navigating to get bodies that might weigh you down, even bodies that have been decapitated. Looking for remains in tight quarters is a completely different ballgame than just diving for the fun of it. And when they did eventually recover Yuri's body, the safety team ended up seeing that most of his equipment was still intact, even after all of the thrashing and panicking that he did while he was down there. One of those pieces of equipment were the camera that he took to film the whole ordeal. And come to find out that it actually ended up recording his death. It recorded all the way down through until the moment that the light left his eyes. And they started to watch it. It's the same footage that was playing in this video for you here. The locals that have seen that footage, it's completely traumatizing for them, especially the way that they talk about how it's red lensing to be able to see differently down under in the darkness, and his muffled screaming, the way that he thrashes and panics, and the clock alarm. All of it is just a morbid sense of you never want to experience something like that, especially for a professional diver like Yuri. They say that he went from being this professional and going down into shallow waters to then just being dead weight at the bottom. The autopsy of Yuri's body did reveal that it wasn't just him hitting his head on the side of a rock and losing consciousness and drowning as a result. It was the narcosis, that very sickness that all divers try and avoid by using more than one tank of that oxygen, nitrogen, helium trimix. Even on a cliff face that is on a path leading to this site are 14 different plaques dedicated as memorials to divers that have lost their lives going down the blue hole.